It's that public school education that's going for us right now from 25 plus years ago.
Welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast.
Don't get me started. Welcome, everybody, to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast. I'm Ginny.
And it's Amy.
We are finally back onto a regular schedule.
Yay.
Okay, so tonight's topic, I thought it would be fun if we shared some like totally weird random facts that we either already knew or have found out recently, and maybe how we found those out, or if we've ever tested these random facts theories or anything like that. So I just thought it would be a fun little lighthearted topic. And so, Amy, do you have any off the top of your head or no?
I do, actually. I was talking to my husband yesterday or today, and we were talking about sloths. And sloths only poop once a week.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
How is... Oh, because they have such a slow metabolism. Oh my God, that makes total sense.
Right?
But how did we learn this? Did we like Google this, or how did this come about?
He learned it on a nature show.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, because, you know, he knows everything. He's Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
But then I asked him, I said, do they only eat then once a week? And he goes, no, they are eating all week, about 8 hours a day, and then the rest of the day they're sleeping. So they sleep like 16 hours a day, and then they're awake for 8 hours, and they're eating that whole time.
Well, because it takes so long for them to eat. Yeah.
And apparently,
interesting.
Here's another little fun fact. Most of what they eat would be toxic to humans.
What do they eat?
They have a very similar diet to koalas, so they eat a lot of eucalyptus.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh.
And straight eucalyptus is toxic to humans. So it has to be refined down for us to utilize eucalyptus like oil and stuff.
So I have a weird Nebraska fact. Totally random.
Okay.
And the reason why this topic came up was because I used to do a thing through the YMCA back home called Youth in Government, right?
Uh-huh.
And one of the tasks that we did one night was to find like the most random, obscure state laws that still are technically in place, but like nobody follows because they're so ancient, right? So I had found this fact out and I had to pull it up because it's a longer sentence. So in 1912, a law was passed in Nebraska that stated drivers in the country at night were required to stop every 150 yards, send up a skyrocket, and wait 8 minutes for the road to clear before proceeding cautiously, all while blowing their horn and shooting off flares.
For what purpose?
I have no damn clue. But in 1912, who the fuck had that many skyrockets? Like, and what the fuck is a skyrocket? Like, let's start there.
Like, I would assume a skyrocket is a flare, and like it's one and the same.
But why in 1912? Would you need to send every 150 yards? Are you kidding me?
That's like 1.5 football fields. That's it.
And you have to blow your horn all while sending the flare at this. That just sounds more dangerous than driving at night.
I agree. So did they? Oh, okay. Wonder if they didn't have headlights yet.
Well, yeah, maybe they didn't have headlights, but I feel like having to shoot a skyrocket out of your vehicle while still waiting, but you have to blow your horn the whole time, and then you have to proceed cautiously while blowing your horn. To me, it just sounds like I feel like you could have held a lantern out and it would have been just as productive or just as efficient.
Or more so. Yeah, that's a good one, though.
Yeah, right? I know. So that's kind of where this whole thing came up was I was talking with somebody about just random Washington state laws that we had managed to come across.
What
again,
ones in Washington
20 years
did
ago.
You come up with?
So the one that I found, which might sound weird, but it's really not, but like it is weird, is that it is against the law. And I think it's actually, there's a couple of other states that have this law, but it is actually against the law to remove roadkill and take it home, even if it was killed on your property. So like if somebody hit a deer right in front of you, right? And it landed on your property, and you know that it like just died, so you don't have to worry about like the meat going rancid, you cannot take that deer and like go get the meat. What's the word I'm looking for? You can't take it to the butchered. Yeah, you can't get the meat butchered and keep it. It's against the law, because once an animal has been killed by a vehicle on the road, it is then the property of the state. So if
what
you take
is the
it,
state doing with it?
I don't know, but you cannot. It does not matter. Now, I don't know if that law still exists. At the time, this was 20 some odd years ago. Let's see, I'm 41 and this is when I was 19. So yeah, like 22 years ago. And that was a law that was still in place, that you could not remove roadkill even if it was on your own property, because it is the property of the state at that point.
Okay.
Or the county. It's either the county or the state or the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is not yours to take. So if you were to take it, it is against the law. And I don't remember at the time if it was considered a misdemeanor or a felony, because obviously, like, you know, each law has a different thing. But yeah, it was punishable by, it was against the law.
I would love to know what was happening that made this law necessary to be a law.
I don't know what made it necessary, but I could understand how, if you're driving down the street and you see somebody hit a deer and you go, oh, I can go get, you don't have to pay for the tag to go hunt the deer, which the state relies, like, I mean, you have to buy a hunting permit. You know, you don't have to pay to do anything other than take it to the butcher and have it, you know, dressed and everything. So I think it was more a matter of keeping people from like pulling over to the side of the road and creating a nuisance by trying to haul any kind of roadkill into the back of a vehicle. I'm thinking more for like a deer. Now, if you hit like a bird or something, obviously, or like a raccoon, you're not going to go get it. But like, I'm thinking more like a deer or an elk or, you know, one of those bigger animals. The meat goes rancid right away, but I could see how somebody, if they wanted deer meat bad enough, would be like, hey, I just saw that. I'm going to take that deer and not have to pay for the tag.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't go into my thoughts on that, because that would get us into a political realm, and I don't want to go there.
Steer clear of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm sure we're on the same page, but
it always makes. Oh, I'm sure. It always fascinates me because I've heard all sorts of weird, random laws from different states, and it always makes me question: A, what kind of human beings are living in that place that they need a law to tell them this?
Mm-hmm.
B, why is this a problem in this area?
Mm-hmm.
Or C, what the fuck is wrong with people in general?
I don't know. I just think that it's interesting that
wrap my brain around it.
It's interesting. Okay, so what's another fact that you have?
So here's one. Cats have a virus that is similar to herpes, that it presents as a respiratory virus, and they will never get rid of it.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know why they will never get rid of it, but once it's like herpes in the sense that it can never go away. You can just treat the symptoms.
But all cats have it?
Nope.
Okay, so it is like a human disease in the sense that you can pass it.
Yep.
And how is it passed in cats?
Respiratory.
Oh,
like
so it is a
droplets.
Respiratory form of herpes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I only know this because my youngest cat has it. And of course I asked the vet, and he's like, your other cats have it. There's no way around it. They have it. They just may not show symptoms.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's very much like human herpes in the sense that you can have it and not show symptoms and not have.
So you're not technically infective, or like you're not what's the word I'm looking for?
They are asymptomatic.
Infectious. They're not infectious in the moment.
No, they can still pass it.
Even though they're not, because it's not like, because women, or not women, adult human herpes, like really almost only will ever be passed during a flare up.
So from what I understand, that they don't, so my other cats don't necessarily have to have active symptoms, but if they sneeze or if they cough once, those droplets get out there. And it can be ingested by another feline.
Interesting.
But it cannot cross species barriers, because I did ask if my dogs are screwed, and they said no.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other fact that I have is raspberries are part of the rose family.
Like the rose flower.
Yeah.
And how did you learn this?
It was just a random fact that I think I was watching like a TikTok or like Reels or something, and it was like random facts that'll blow your mind, and like it was one of the facts, and I was like, nah. And I've never actually looked it up, but supposedly raspberries are related. They're a member of the rose family. That there's different breeds or strains of roses.
Okay. All right. That one's interesting. Like,
see, this is why we have these random facts, because
that one's gonna mess with my head.
You're gonna have to do some. Well, I mean, roses are edible.
Well, yeah, especially if, like, you make a tincture out of it,
or like a rose water, like on your face, or like there's my in-laws. It's very, very prevalent in Arab culture, rose water, like syrup, and like they put it on top of like desserts and stuff, or they mix it in with some of their, what does she put it in? She puts it in something and it's part of a dessert, and oh my God, it is so good. And you would think that it would be very, very floral, but it's just a small hint, like you're like, what is that flavor? Like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to try it. I guess you might not have had any while you were here because it's expensive. So
not only that, I did not eat any of the desserts at your wedding.
Why?
Because I forgot about it. I got too sidetracked and was dancing with all the kids and drinking. And
fun fact, I don't even know where the Arabic dessert table was at our wedding both nights, because I never saw it because I was too busy doing other crap. So I mean, I know we had it. I could not tell you where it was.
I don't even remember. I mean, I'm obviously sure there was one the first night, but I don't remember there being, like, I don't remember seeing it.
From what I was told, it was at the end of the buffet line, up against the wall.
Got it.
From what I was told. I myself did not partake because I was too big. I don't even remember eating the food on my plate, honestly, to tell you the truth. Like, I mean, I know I did.
I get that.
But yeah, there was one. It was like a Arabic food and treat table.
Well, then I had to have seen it and just didn't know that it was like desserts.
At our wedding, I have no freaking clue where it was. I don't. Got me.
I would assume it was like, I saw the American dessert table.
It wasn't with the cake.
I think some of it was, or maybe after.
Well, some of the baklava was there, but like all the other cookies and like stuff. But the baklava, yeah, was with the cake.
Gotcha.
So
I remember walking past it and thinking, oh, that's a pretty cake, and then not walking past it again.
Again, I didn't even walk past it. I just know it wasn't at the cake table because I did go to the cake table to cut the cake. Other than that, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so another fun fact for you, since I just blew your mind with raspberries are a member of the rose family.
I don't know. You blew my mind to the point where I forgot mine.
I have another one.
Okay.
The chicken and the ostrich are the closest living relatives to the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That makes sense. I don't know why, but that makes sense.
Ostriches, yes. Maybe not chickens because they're so small. But I guess chickens are just a really small version of an ostrich. But ostriches are assholes.
Birds are dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, but Tyrannosaurus Rex is not a bird. So you would think it would be more closely related to the pterodactyl, not Tyrannosaurus Rex. But at the same time, if you think about Tyrannosaurus Rex having like the really small arms, I wonder if it like evolved into not having any arms, and then it became that ugly mucking fucking other ostrich thing, and then it got even smaller to a chicken.
Are you talking about
there
the emu?
That's it. Oh, there's emus too.
Yeah.
They're assholes, yeah.
And they're like a small version of ostriches.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're the closest living relatives to the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay. So this one, if you think about it, it makes sense. But I never thought about it until somebody said it to me. Monkeys have tails. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. So a gibbon does not have a tail. They're the ones with the really long arms and long legs. Yep. Because they're primates. Those are apes. So the gibbon is a lesser ape, and the orangutan is more of the great apes. And so is a chimpanzee and a gorilla.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that if you think about it, it makes sense. But I never thought about it until somebody told me, and I'm like, holy shit, my mind's blown. It's changed my worldview. Because I've always said, I want a monkey. I guess I wouldn't have thought of it. And half the time I'm talking about a chimpanzee, and they're like, that's not a monkey.
Well, I mean, I guess I've just never called it a monkey. It's always a chimp or a, orangutan, or I've never called him a monkey unless it's a monkey, like the capuchin monkeys and stuff, like. But then I usually call it by its name. It's a capuchin. It's, you know what I mean?
Me, they're all monkeys. Just like.
Well, that's like me saying every dog is a puppy. I mean, I know damn well there's lots of different breeds, but they're all puppies.
And they could be 15 years old.
Full grown or not. Yeah, they could be dying on their deathbed and they're still a puppy. Poopies. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a puppy. Like, it doesn't matter what age it is.
Exactly.
Or what size. So I could see why you would overgeneralize when you're discussing monkeys in general. But if you were, trying to specifically describe one, you would use orangutan, chimp, ape, I would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Interesting. I found this one out the other day because I somehow or another, our phones are listening to us. Amy had mentioned that her favorite animal was a giraffe because they're really cute and they've got like long necks or whatever. And so of course now, like, every once in a while my phone will just send me a whole bunch of chimp or giraffe stuff. And one of them I learned the other day was that a giraffe can go longer than a camel without water.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? Camels are just always known because they live in the desert and blah, blah, blah. But no, and they're not retaining water like I think camels sometimes do, but they can go longer without it. Right?
Fascinating.
I know. I was like, I have to remember that one because of course it popped up on my phone.
And speaking of giraffes, one of my coworkers just went to Mexico on vacation, and him and his wife brought me back this stone giraffe. Cutest little thing. It now resides on my desk next to the stone.
It's very cool
turtle I have. Yes. So.
Yes. It's very cool. She sent us a picture. It was great.
Let's see. Abraham Lincoln used to use mercury regularly.
For what?
All sorts of ailments. Back in that day, they used it for...
Like liquid?
Yep. They used it for fevers. They, like, all sorts of things that you're like, mercury is, like, toxic, so we should probably not be ingesting that. But no, a lot of people back in that day, and so was his wife, and that's part of the treatment they used for her bipolar.
Okay, wait, what? It's part of
They used mercury as treatment for her bipolar as well.
Oh.
Which is also why she was so batshit crazy, because the mercury was not doing any help.
Well, they were poisoning her pretty much. Yeah. Interesting. So another random fact, animals. Almost all pandas in the world are on loan from China. Every panda is owned by the country of China. And any zoos that have them,
an animal?
Because they come from China.
Well, obviously.
So China's the one who supplies the captive pandas to zoos.
So nobody has ever smuggled a panda out and then, like...
That's why they're saying almost all pandas. Okay. Every panda that is in a zoo or that is on display in some way or another for other people to see is on loan from the country of China. Now, if somebody smuggles one out, obviously there's nothing you can do about that. But every zoo that is in possession of a panda it is on loan from the country of China. Because if the country of China doesn't give it to them, there's no way they could access one.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So here's one that's not a surprise to you. So if anyone saw the movie Ivan on Disney Plus, I think it's called The Great Ivan or something like that, or read the book.
I've read of it. I've heard about it. I just
Yeah.
want to watch
So that is based on a true story, and that gorilla was housed in the shopping center near where we grew up.
it.
Yep.
B&I.
I legit had somebody
I know,
reach
that's why
out
I
to me
don't-
and say, like, is this true that it was in a place up there? And I was like, yeah, I actually lived right down the street from it
We
all the
saw
time. And
him.
he was so sad. So, like, he had no friends. At least in the movie and the book, he had friends. He did not have friends there. Like, there was no other animals.
No. That's why I can't watch it. It was such
Mm-hmm.
cruelty. And fun fact, went to the B&I like maybe 20 years later. And like, I remember being a kid thinking that was like the best thing ever. And then I grew up and I went and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this place? It's weird, right?
I don't know.
What the fuck is it? Like, what is it even? I don't
grew up
understand.
remembering it being essentially like a mall.
Yes. And it's not. It's like a damn indoor swap meet.
Thank you.
But it's like sketch as fuck.
Yeah, it is sketch. Like
Sketch. Like I didn't even feel comfortable getting out of the vehicle when I think I was like 19 or 20 and I might have gone with you. All I know is that it was sketchy as fuck. And it was like an indoor swap meet, but it was like the weirdest things. It's not like, oh, I have all this extra wood or whatever. It was some like old ass wigs and makeup half used and like.
And I remember going through an area that was like car stereos, and all I could think was, these are definitely stolen.
Oh, they're all hot.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. Like,
and
back in that day, Tacoma was the car theft capital of the U.S.
Well, part of the reason for that is because, and I think this is just from my own personal experience, is that we all either had a Honda, a Toyota, or a
Acura.
What was maybe Acura is later on, but like there was maybe 7 keys made a year for each like vehicle they made. So like they replicated the same key. So like I had an 87 Honda and my neighbor had like a 93 Honda and his key would unlock my car.
That's fucked up.
Because for like 5 or 6 years, they would use the same key, but like they would just random, you know what I mean? Like they would just use the same key shape. And so it was fucking easy. Like if you had a Honda and you knew a place where there was lots of Hondas, your luck was better than most to be able to find a vehicle to unlock and break into it and not break into it and set off alarms.
So when Chris and I worked together, there was this is when I had a Saturn, mind you. They broke into my car and stole my car stereo that we had just put in. And then no joke, a week later, they busted my window that time to steal, and I didn't have a new stereo in it yet because it was less than a week later. It was literally probably 6 days. But you know what they stole out of that car? My dirty clothes.
Amy used to like have a laundromat in her car.
In all fairness, like after work that day, I was planning on going over to Aunt Sunday's and doing my laundry and like hanging out with her and going through some stuff because we were like packing up Grandma's house. But no, I didn't have to do laundry that week.
Okay, so back to random facts. We had the gorilla one.
Yep.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else off the top of my head at the moment. Go ahead and you go with one.
So I kind of looked up a couple of them. Apparently, Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd.
In what year?
It does not say. I just saw that. Like, I was looking earlier, like, oh, what are some other fun facts? And I saw that, and it just said that he invented the word nerd. And again, you know, I'm not saying that I'm looking into, like, Webster's Dictionary of Facts. You know?
All right. The Eiffel Tower can be 15 centimeters taller during the summer.
What can be?
The Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, the heat and the cold makes it expand and
Yep.
contract.
Yep.
I wouldn't have thought of it, but I mean, it makes sense.
It's one of the, like, a lot of things that I learn, is, it's all sensical stuff that, like, makes total sense when you think about it, but you're like, I
Yeah.
never would have thought about it.
You've like never stopped to think about it.
Exactly.
Apparently, there's around 16 million people who are direct descendants of Genghis Khan.
Khan, you mean?
Yeah, Khan.
I
Genghis
thought
Khan.
I thought you put a G at the end of it.
Oh, if I did, I didn't mean to, but no, Genghis Khan. Like, apparently, there are still 16 million people in the world that are direct descendants. And he was like from the 1500s, or no, he was like 12 or 1300s, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't know about Genghis Khan. Wasn't he like a Chinese conqueror?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the extent of my knowledge on Genghis Khan.
Okay. Well, now you have one more fact.
Yeah. Australia is wider than the moon.
What?
The moon sits at 3,400 kilometers in diameter, and Australia's diameter from east to west is almost 4,000 kilometers.
So Australia is the size of the moon if you were to like wrap it around, like
Width-wise.
interesting.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's probably not
would-
like bigger in the sense that it's probably shorter, but like side to side, it's wider.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have ever thought of that. Okay, so a drop of toothpaste on your toothbrush, guess what it's called?
What?
A myrtle. Like, what the fuck is that, right?
That's a name that I call my dog.
and no,
Myrtle
and
the
you,
turtle.
yeah, but it's not spelled that way. It's Murdle,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. That's okay. Okay.
Okay.
So a group of crows is called a murder, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, ravens also got lumped in and got kind of a shitty name for their groups. A group of ravens is called an unkindness.
I've heard that, and I always thought it was really weird because what the fuck is that?
Thank you. Like, I can understand herd. I can understand a school. I can understand a swarm.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we calling a group of crows a murder and a group of ravens an unkindness?
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would have never thought of that. Slinkies, if stretched out, are 82 feet long.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right? That blows my mind. I swear to God, they're not that big.
No, they're not.
But the way that it's shaped or something, they're 82 feet long.
In all fairness, though, slinkies only lasted about 2-3 days. And then they'd
Well,
get tangled, and then you can't use them
When we
anymore.
were kids, it was a little bit nicer because they were like the hardcore metal ones that you totally like scratched the fuck out of and like got burned in the summer. And now they make these plastic ones.
Yeah, I would assume the plastic ones are even easier to get like tangled.
And they break easier.
Well, that's true too. That's not saying much. Everything that they make now breaks easier.
Right.
It is illegal to own a guinea pig in Switzerland.
Why?
It's considered animal abuse.
But every other animal's not considered animal
I'm
abuse?
sorry. It's illegal to own just one.
Oh, because they're social creatures
Yes.
and they need two.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was going to say they can't own a guinea pig, but they can have a dog. Wouldn't that be considered animal cruelty too? But, okay. But dogs are pack animals and so are cats.
Well, cats actually, it's
I
hit
mean,
and
they
miss.
can live on their own, but if there's usually, like if they're feral, there are usually communities of like feral cats, But like
Yeah,
dogs are pack
and then
animals.
they still beat the shit out of each other.
Well, yeah. But, dogs are pack animals and like No, snakes wouldn't be. Fish need
Yeah.
a school.
Yep.
So yeah, like, so why isn't the law for everything else? Or hamsters even?
I don't know. That maybe Chris could answer that because he actually had guinea pigs when we were growing up.
I had a guinea pig too.
Did you?
Yep.
What was yours named?
I think it was Norman.
Interesting.
It wasn't mine originally, it was Aunt Debbie's.
I remember Chris's was named Sniffles. Because it sounded like it had the sniffles.
Oh, okay.
And then that one died. And then he got another one that was all brown and it was called Coco.
Cocoa?
Yeah.
Why cocoa?
Because it looked like cocoa powder.
Oh, okay.
It was like
that
not
makes sense.
quite brown, but not like blonde. So it
Mhm.
was like that light brown.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, almonds are part of the peach family.
I feel like I learned that one recently.
Really?
I think so. I think Bill told me that. That would make sense that he would have told me.
Well, yeah, because he watches that kind of
Well,
stuff.
not only
and,
that,
he
like,
learns about all that.
No joke. We've got like 5-pound bags of almonds. Because
Yeah.
they were last year, there was a bad harvest. And so we knew prices were going to shoot up on almonds. So anytime I went to Costco, I got the max limit, which was 3 bags of them. And we'd put them away because that's what he snacks on throughout the day.
Yeah, no, you can just throw those in the freezer, can't you?
Yeah, but no need when he goes through them as quickly as he does.
Well, yeah. I'll do that, like, when you see stuff like pecans go on sale.
Mhm.
Because at freaking Christmas time and Thanksgiving time, like, the price just shoots through the roof and they're so fucking expensive.
Grandma did that a lot with parquet and walnuts.
With what?
Parquet,
What's parquet?
margarine.
Oh, I thought you were talking, like, a nut.
She did that with parquet and then also walnuts.
Okay. There are 293 ways to make change for $1.
I'm sorry, how many?
293 ways.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. I can't.
Not sure. I'm not trying to figure that out.
Yeah, me
'cause
neither.
Math is not.
Our
me?
strong suit.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, this week we had Pi Day, and I saw a meme on Facebook, and I sent it to my old math teacher from high school, and it said
Yeah.
Pi Day was created by by the math companies to create more math.
Oh, I saw that. Didn't you share it or something?
Yeah, I shared it, and then I tagged my old math teacher.
Oh, okay. That's who that was
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely love her. The heart of a shrimp is located in its head.
Oh.
Gives a whole new meaning to thinking with your head.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh goodness. Did you know that there's more Monopoly money printed every year than actual money throughout the world?
That makes sense.
The whole world.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because people
You
like
think
to.
so?
Yeah. Well, there's so much Monopoly money in each game. And how many games are produced each year. It makes sense to me.
I guess, yeah.
You might know this because I feel like we have talked about this before, but the national animal of Scotland is a unicorn.
I don't think that we've ever discussed that.
I've discussed it with somebody then because I thought it was bullshit at first. I thought it was fucking crazy. But no, it's true.
Unicorn's not even a real animal.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me.
Huh. Okay, so the country of Russia is bigger than the entire planet of Pluto.
That makes sense why Pluto was taken out of planetary status years ago.
Right? I always wondered why.
I
But what makes it a planet? And why does it have to be a certain size to be considered a planet? If it's not a star because it's not burning, then what is it if it's not a planet?
a rock.
But then it would not be in orbit. It would just be on its own track. It's in orbit with all these other planets in our solar system. It has to be a planet.
I don't know. Like, so many people have tried to explain astrophysics to me, and I'm like, way over my head, dude. Way over.
Huh.
None of it makes sense to me. Outer space is so vast and so confusing to me that just saying the word outer space kind of like humbles me very much. So, and I'm like, okay. I mean, like it's too much.
Interesting.
Nutmeg is a hallucinogen.
I know. Isn't that weird?
That's fucking great.
I mean, but how much would you have to ingest? Because
it says it's in large doses. So,
well, yeah, but what's considered large dose of nutmeg? It's such a small little seed, and then when you grate it, like, are we talking large doses of whole nutmeg, ground nutmeg? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Did you know that on average, 100 people choke to death each year on ballpoint pens? How do you choke on a ballpoint pen?
Thank you.
First of all, because I feel like it's small enough, it should fit down to your esophagus, right? Because like esophaguses are, I mean, like we chew food and it goes down. So not sure. But then why is there an opportunity for a ballpoint pen to go that far into your mouth?
That's a great question. That's what I want to know. Why are people stupid?
Right.
Did you know that
but like
coconuts kill more people than shark attacks?
Yes. Oh my God, I heard that a couple of years ago and I was like, oh, that's so funny. That's got to be a joke. But like, how?
Hitting them in the head.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I feel like if I knew that there was like coconut trees around, I wouldn't walk right underneath one.
Okay, well, we've already established that humanity is fucked.
Well, yeah,
we're choking on ballpoint pens.
Bears do not poop during hibernation. And did you know that hibernation does not mean that they technically sleep the entire time?
Yeah, we went over that last week.
Okay, so are you the one who told me that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a fact I learned. So I was, again, bears popped up on my thing, and it was bears don't poop during hibernation. Which would be weird because they eat all that food to like store it away for winter. So like, how do their intestines store it without digesting it too fast to poop?
That's a great question. Now I'm gonna have to look that one up. Yeah.
Right? I just feel like, I mean, I understand they probably wouldn't defecate as often because they would be using a lot more nutrients than most, but where does it go to be stored? Where it, like, do they have like, so like cows, I think have like what, 2 or 3 stomachs or something like that? 4. So like, do bears have multiple stomachs where like the food goes and it like slowly filters and, you know what I mean? Because if you're eating anything, where does that poop go?
That's a great question. Poop.
Right?
That might have to be one of my deep dives. And we're going to call it, does a bear shit in the woods? I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
Let's see. The Spanish national anthem has no words.
Then how is it a national anthem? It's just a national musical
anthem. It just doesn't have lyrics. So there are 4 countries that do not have lyrics in their national anthem. Spain is one. Bosnia,
Herzegovina,
yeah, and Kosovo.
So all
4 of those
older countries of Czechoslovakia, weren't those all part of Czechoslovakia at one point?
I legitimately
No, that's Yugoslavia and Czech Republic.
I think.
Know. They used to be part of Yugoslavia, I think.
I was thinking about this a week or so ago. We were young enough that when we first started going to school, Russia was not Russia. Russia was the USSR.
The USSR,
yeah.
I know.
And it made me feel real fucking old.
And it also made me feel really, really old that actually there's a lot of countries that since we've been born and started going to school either no longer exist and are multiple other countries, or they're no longer exist they still have the same borders, but are under a different name, whether it's because of a regime or whatever. I don't know.
Well,
It's just so weird.
Czechoslovakia.
Like Yugoslavia does not
Well,
exist.
Czechoslovakia is not Czechoslovakia anymore. It's the Czech Republic.
Yeah. And then like Ukraine used to be part of the USSR, and all these other little like countries, and like the Kazakhstan and Tajikistan and all of those, they all used to be part of the USSR. Because my son has a friend who is from, I want to say it's either Tajikistan or Kazakhstan, or one of those. It's one of those two, I think. But if you ask him where he's from, he says Russia. And they speak Arabic because they're Muslim, but they also speak Russian.
It makes sense because of their proximity to Russia.
Right, right. But it's so crazy. And they're Muslims. They practice Ramadan and everything. So they speak Arabic. And the dad used to work for my husband's family a long time ago, so they know each other. But I didn't know that, of course, when Elle became friends with this kid, because they've been friends since kindergarten.
No joke. That kid, every time I see him in pictures, I think it's one of your stepsons.
Yeah. He does look, very similar. And his family is like, before I knew exactly where they were from, I could hear him speaking and I knew what they were saying. And so like, I'll ask my husband every once in a while to translate if he overhears words. Some of them he can't because they are Russian, and every once in a while he'll pick up a couple of words that are Arabic. But again, it's a different version of Arabic. So I don't know, like, he's like, I think this is what he's saying. He can like roughly translate, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know that Queen Elizabeth was a trained mechanic?
I heard that in World War II, she used to work on the cars and stuff, kind of like the Red Cross girls and everything.
Yeah, so apparently she started training when she was 16. She started training to be a mechanic when she was 16.
That's so cool. Yeah, before she found out she was supposed to be the next in line, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Did you know?
Because I believe her uncle abdicated when they were still like kids. Like single digit age.
I don't know.
And I only recently knew about that because of The Crown. Like, I did not know that that she was never intended to be.
Oh, I knew that. I just knew that that's kind of where I like knew how much she worked in the war and everything. But but yeah, I knew that she was never intended.
Yeah, I didn't.
To be. She was supposed to be the niece.
Yeah, again, that's one of those things that had I thought about it, I probably could have pulled something out of memory from school, but
yeah,
that was not a part of history.
Well, yeah, I mean, because we learn a little bit about her, but it's not like they spend a lot of time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you know that rhubarb can spring up out of the ground so fast you can actually hear it grow?
That's cool as shit.
Right? Now I want to go. I'm not a rhubarb person, but now I want to go plant some rhubarb.
So on that, did you know that if you eat the leaves off of the rhubarb stalk, those are toxic?
The leaves or like the stem?
Not the stem, the leaf.
And why are the leaves
There's
toxic?
something in the leaf that's toxic. I don't know why. But I do remember that these kids came through and like they essentially like destroyed Grandma's garden one year when I was a teenager. And
kids?
Yeah. But like I vandalized. Okay. They vandalized our garden. So they came through and cut like the top half of our peach tree off. And then like they cut just the leaves off of our rhubarb bushes. And Grandma laughed. And she goes, if they eat it, they'll die. Guess that's what they get.
Oh my gosh.
That's Grandma for you.
Sounds like Grandma. Yep.
Don't fuck with her.
Right. She had like zero fucks.
None.
Did you know that the amount of hot dogs consumed on the 4th of July can stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles 5 times over?
That's kind of disgusting.
Right? Because I mean, I'm not a huge fan of hot dogs.
Does that include like the hot dog eating contest? Because I believe that happens on the 4th of July.
It just says the number of hot dogs consumed on the 4th of July. It doesn't say that it has to be barbecue or, you know, anything, or if it just says that the number of them consumed.
That's disgusting.
That's gross. Yeah, I don't like. For those of you who don't know,
I think I eat hot dogs like once every 2 to 3 years.
And I usually will have those at a barbecue after I've had already all the other food and I've had a little bit too much to drink, so I need to put something in my tummy, and it's the only thing left over. That's pretty much why I would eat a hot dog.
Every now and then I'll get in the mood for a Polish dog with sauerkraut and mustard.
I'll do a Polish dog. That to me is different than a hot dog. I'm thinking of hot dogs as like your ballparks, your Bar S, all those like Hebrew wieners that are like red. And like, I mean, if it's, I'm not a huge fan of bratwurst, but like a Polish sausage is good. German sausage is really, really good. But it's got to be not that prepackaged stuff. Like we used to have a place in Yakima when my grandparents lived there, and it was a German bakery, and they made their own German sausage there, and that shit was fire. So good. Yeah. I'll eat that.
Yeah. The Easter Island heads actually have bodies.
Oh, yeah. Underground. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're still trying to figure out if they were buried or if they've been covered up or why. Because didn't they just discover a new one recently?
In the 2010s, archaeologists found 2 of the Pacific Island figures had torsos that measured as high as 33 feet.
That's so crazy.
That's cool as shit. I cannot wait to go there someday.
I think within the last week or two,
go.
There has been a development on like new things found at Easter Island. I swear to God.
I want to go there and the Galapagos.
I don't know if I want to go there.
I do.
Did you know that a cat's ear has 32 muscles?
Yes, I did know that.
Ear?
That's why they can move it. Yeah, that's why they can move it so many different ways.
I guess if you think about it like that,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would have never thought about it like that. See?
And I think about it like that because I have 3 of them and they're all moving their ears. Just saying. Is that all you got?
Yep. That's it. I didn't have a ton. The ones that I had were like so random.
If you guys out there have any random ones that you want to share with us, and we can do another one of these, that would be fun too. Feel free to email us, Ginny and Amy podcast @gmail.com. That's GINNYANDAMY podcast @gmail.com.
You can also reach us at Bitch and Siblings Podcast on Instagram. We've been putting up some fun videos and stuff for you guys, so drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. Anyways, I think that's it for you guys tonight. We'll talk to you later. Bye.